Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. I am back today with an update on my No Pan Left Behind. So if you are new to this project, this is the end of this project. The way that it is currently, I have been going through all of my single shadows using a random generator to help me pull shadows every month to try and use to see if I want to keep them in my collection and just get some general use on them. And I am at the very end of my spreadsheet. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this project after this. I might just do a kind of more traditional No Pan Left Behind using my palettes. I guess we'll see. But for now, let's talk about the singles that I was able to use last time. These are all the powder shadows I had pulled last time, and I was able to use all of them. I'm actually wearing these two today. This is a Kosas shadow, and I have that all over my lid there. Is that not glorious? I'm telling you, I keep talking about Kosas. They're kind of not talked about as much as they used to be, but their shadows are just primo. I'm telling you, they're glorious. And then this is a single from Nabla, and I have that kind of on the inner part of my lid. You can see the sparkly gold there. Otherwise, I had a great time with these, especially these very bright metallics. One's from JD Glow, and the other one's from Give Me Glow, I believe. Those are such fun colors, and I think it was yesterday I did pair it with this green matte, and it made it such a beautiful springy look. Where I live, it's not spring yet, but you know, it was some nice wishful thinking, and it turned out to be a very pretty look. I enjoyed my time with all of these, but I am ready now to move on to a new set of shadows. Oh, and I also had some cream shadows last time as well. I did use my Phytosurgence Pewtered Pine, also Phytosurgence Magnetic Maple. If you're looking for a super budge proof shadow, these are it for that. They're a very stiff formula, but it makes them quite long wearing. I also used Moira Lucent Cream Shadow in the shade Jupiter. So this was absolutely stunning. Very, very sparkly, wet looking, but even using a glitter glue with this and being very careful to apply it in pressing motions, I did have it migrate around my face a little bit. I was wearing this to a party and it was pretty, but you know, it did not stay put. So just something to note about this, but it is stunning. The only one I had pulled that I didn't get to was this liquid shadow from Sydney Gray. So this is going to be rolling over into the next month. This is the shade The Queen. So I'm gonna quick give you another swatch of this. It is a beautiful shade. Oh my goodness. So that is The Queen. So as I mentioned on my spreadsheet, I'm down to just a handful of shadows, 15 to be exact, and that is a good amount I can fit into this palette. So I'm not gonna randomly generate for you today. I'm just gonna share with you the last 15 shadows that I have to use. Let's start with the cream shadows. So I have a shadow from Stila. This is one of their popular liquid shadows, specifically the Glistening Glow formula, and this is the shade Stream. This is one of those shades I'm not sure if it's my favorite. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's got kind of a more magenta pink color to it, and then it has some kind of gold glitter in it. It looks very pretty there on the back of my hand. I'm willing to give it another try. When I first tried it, I was kind of about it. We'll see how I feel. Also, Tom Ford Platinum. I think I have reached for this outside of this project, but since it hasn't been rolled in yet, I thought, why not just treat myself and roll in this shadow to use. So this is kind of a famous product and I love it just like everybody else does. Very, very flattering taupey shade on the eye. So those are the 3 cream shadows. Otherwise, the rest of the shades are powders. Starting with some mattes, I have Makeup Geek So Pale. My round Makeup Geek shadows are getting quite old. So we will see if this is any good anymore. I mean, it still has good pigment though. And I always just loved these. I have a matte black here from Sydney Grace. This is the shade Tuxedo. I think I got this in a mystery bag. Normally I would not purchase a black single shadow. I have enough black eyeshadows in my palettes. So this might be one I don't necessarily need to hang on to, but I don't know. We'll see what I decide. Here's another one from Sydney Grace. This is the shade Pecan Pie or Pecan Pie. Sydney Grace again. This is the shade Eiffel Tower. Actually, I think all 3 of these shades I got in a mystery bag. Ooh, that's a glorious shade. From Makeup Geek, one of the best shades to exist. This is the shade Beach Please. I have had subscribers ask me to find a dupe, and I have looked. I have not yet found this exact shade. very difficult to find. If you know of one, make sure and share with the rest of us, please. Little depotted ColourPop shadow. This is the shade Big Fig, and this was in the Making Mauves palette. Here is a pretty little matte green, and this is the shade Seafoam from Sydney Grace. That's a beautiful spring shade. Wow. I have another green. This one is from Nabla, moving now into shimmery shadows. This is a gorgeous shadow. This is the shade Extra Virgin. Oh, I just love the finish on that. So here is a really fun shadow from Glam Shop. This is a very, very sparkly shade. Here is the name in Polish. I think it's called Fancy Hollow in English. Let me know if I'm wrong. This is super fun. That's a definite party time shade. I have another shade from Nabla. This is stunning. Oh, I love this shade. This is the shade Water Dream, and this was one of the first kind of popularized wet looking shadows that came out, you know, aside from Urban Decay, but I feel like this was one of the ones that everyone talked about a few years ago. So beautiful. I have a couple shadows from Divina. I only have a few shadows from them in my entire collection. I have 2 in this rotation. So this is the shade Amara. And then I also have the shade Corey. Both of those very pretty spring, summer, warm weather shadows. And then lastly, I have one of the oldest shadows in my collection. I got this from Ipsy in 2019. This is the shade Who Me from Colored Rain. We'll see if it's just as creamy and beautiful as I remember. It sure feels fine. And this is a beautiful metallic shade. So that is the lineup of powders and the creams I'm going to be using for the next month. Beautiful shadows. I should have no problem reaching for these. I'm going to wait to do an update until I've used all of them. And again, I'll have to contemplate and see what I want to do with this project. I have a feeling I'm not going to want to do a super traditional No Pan Left Behind if I continue with this series, just because when it comes to palettes, I know there are shades that I don't ever use. When it comes to singles, I mean, these are all like very curated by me, so I want to use every shade. It's not the same way with palettes. And I feel like it's a surefire way for me to like not want to use my eyeshadows if I'm trying to force myself to use colors I don't want to wear, you know? So I'm going to try to avoid doing that. This project is all about the joy of using the sparklies, the pretties. If you have a suggestion, let me know. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video. This is always where I share my tea of the day, and today is a really good one. This one is from Verdant Tea. It is a Wu Yi Oolong, and this is the name of it. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it. And this one is distinctly fruity. It has kind of that classic floral oolong taste, but it's like the top note is fruit. And it's not roasted super dark either. It's kind of a lighter roast. It's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again very soon in the next one. Bye.